I built an emergency power outage kit for $60. You can build one for way less. Let's take a look and see what's inside. I built this kit with my sister in mind. She lives with her 2 kids, and recently they had a power outage in town which lasted over a day. They were estimating it was going to last several days. And in talking to her, I realized she didn't really have flashlights around. She had a cell phone flashlight, but that was pretty much it. And I got to thinking, I wonder if I can make her an emergency kit so that she's set the next time she has a power outage. So I went to my local Harbor Freight in tax-free New Hampshire and picked up a full kit. I spent just about $60 on all the things in here. Depending upon what you have laying around your house already, how big your family is, and what you feel like you need in here, you could spend way less than that. You could also spend way more if you want to go buy yourself a bunch of flashlights that are super cool and expensive. You can go way down a flashlight rabbit hole if you want to. Let's take a look and see what we got. I've broken this kit into 4 pieces. We have light, fire, something fun, and longevity. Let's start with light. I've spent a lot of time backpacking and camping. A piece of equipment that I found invaluable is a headlamp. I picked the cheapest headlamps I could find at Harbor Freight. These are $2.49 a piece. They use 2 AA batteries and they push about 50 lumens of light out of them. Now that's not a ton of light. And if you're looking just at lumens, you're gonna say, wow, that's not enough power. However, if you're in a house during a power outage, you don't want a super bright light. You want something that's a little lower in power so that you're not blinded by it. And if you accidentally flash somebody else with it, you don't want to blind them. This is a good amount of power for reading a book. And because you have straps on it, you're hands-free. Leaving both hands available to do other things, like keep warm, because it's 23 degrees outside. So because it's my sister and her 2 kids, everybody has their own personal headlamp. Next, we have sort of group light or lanterns. This guy was $1.79, takes AAA batteries. Push the button once and you get a little flashlight, and then push it again and you get a larger flashlight like that. Similarly, we have this guy. Push it once, you get red light. Again, you get white light. And then you get some flashing signal light. Both of these have magnets and hooks on the back, so you can hook them up if you want and hang them. And then finally, we have lanterns. I really like these. They're a little brighter, great for lighting up the kitchen to give yourself some ambient light while you're cooking. I think these are about 250 lumens. These take AA batteries. My favorite way to use these lights is to take something like a Nalgene water bottle, or perhaps even a mason jar or a glass, and you have yourself a nice lantern. They look really nice at night. It's good ambient light. It isn't gonna blind you, and it's sort of nice to be able to see as you're going around in rooms. This is the single most expensive thing I purchased. It was $13.99. It throws over 500 lumens. It is nice and bright, and you can focus the beam if you want. You get high, low, flashing. Not as useful for inside the house, but extra useful if you hear something go bump in the night outside and you want to see what's out there. Let's take a look at the difference between this flashlight and this flashlight looking off the deck at night. First, we'll look at the headlamp, and now we will look at the tactical flashlight. Fire. As they say, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Everything from lighting candles to lighting your gas cook stove to lighting your wood stove, you want to make sure you have plenty of ways to start a fire. So the first fire starter I got is Strike Anywhere matches. They make way more sense than Strike on box matches. When the abrasive stripe wears off of the box, you want to make sure you can still start a fire. I'm pretty sure we could start one off of my jackknife. See, you don't even need a box. This is the way you want to go. You want the most reliable way to start fires possible. I do have a Ziploc of little Strike on box matches. On the off chance you take this outside, leave it out there and it gets soaking wet, you want to make sure you have more matches. And finally, the third fire starting option is a Bic lighter. These just work. They last a really long time. These I just bought brand new, and I did take the safety off of them. The safeties are handy for when you have small kids around. However, they do make it harder to light these. And in an emergency situation, the last thing you want to do is make anything harder for yourself. So I just used a punch and popped these right off. Be careful when you do that. When the safeties pop off, they fly everywhere. Oh, this one's not gonna... Oh, yeah, it is. Jeez. I don't know where they're going. Something fun. Whether you have small kids or you live by yourself, when the power is out, there's no internet, perhaps no cell service, depending upon what's happened or where you live, and it's dark and cold, you're gonna get bored. So I grabbed 2 packs of cards for my sister's emergency kit. They know a bunch of card games already, so this will keep them occupied when the lights go out. If you don't know a bunch of card games, I recommend printing off a couple sets of game rules and leaving it in your emergency kit. Long-term storage. It's handy to have all these flashlights, and they'll last a couple days likely, depending upon how much you have them on. But after a while, the batteries are gonna die. In your emergency kit, you should keep extra batteries. I bought her 2 packs, a pack of AAAs and a pack of AA's. These are the 2 types of batteries that all the flashlights use, and now she's set for weeks of use. This container has a rubber gasket, and although it isn't listed as watertight, I suspect it's close to airtight. I want to make sure that moisture doesn't damage anything in here because likely it's going to sit on a shelf until it's needed, which could be a year or 2. So I grabbed silica gel packets that arrived in a package I'd ordered online and just threw them in the container here. That way it'll deal with any extra moisture and hopefully will allow all of the electronics and the batteries and the matches to stay nice and dry and ready for use. When you get these in the mail with things you've ordered, don't throw them away. Just toss them in a Ziploc bag, and then you can use them in this application later. And finally, the container. You do not need to go out and spend $10 on a ammo can like I did at Harbor Freight. You can use an old backpack, a Rubbermaid container, a small duffel bag. Ideally, you label it so it's easy to find. I made a little stencil out of paper and with some spray paint, labeled the kit. This was the first time I'd ever made a stencil out of a piece of paper before. I would give myself a solid 4.5 out of 10. You can read it, but it looks like a 5th grader did it. And a bonus item to put in here, duct tape. I saw it on the shelf at Harbor Freight. It seemed like something my sister should have around at the house. I don't know if she has any, so kid, bonus item for you. Chances are you have a bunch of this stuff laying around the house already. You probably have extra batteries sitting in some drawer, some lighters sitting in a different drawer, matches kind of by the stove somewhere. Flashlight, check under the bed. There could be one there, maybe in your closet. If you just gather up everything you have, find yourself a container and put it all in there, that's all you really need to do. I'm curious, what would you put in your power outage emergency kit? Let me know below. You could likely spend no money and end the day knowing where your batteries are, where your flashlights are, and where the matches are. So stop watching this video, get off the internet, go take 10 minutes, gather up your stuff, put it in a box, and be a little more prepared than you were this morning. I want to thank all of you for hanging out with me here on a frosty morning at 4 acres in southern Vermont, 25 degrees to be exact. Always do the best you can with what you've got, and I'll see you around. Take care. Holy cow, it's cold. Well, Vermont decided it was winter again.